What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another video here on SF85 ASMR. My name is SilentFan85. This is a couple of my favorite games I wanted to share with you guys. Get a little thing here. You'll have to excuse my desk, it's a little dirty, but in the video perspective right now is a little awkward for me. Um, it's a little bit of a weird setup, but I wanted to do a quick video. It's kind of late at night. Got some lights on. The shadows are a little weird, so bear with me on this. But these are a couple of games, one that I've done on the SilentFan85 channel, and one that I hope to do, which is this one, Lollipop Chainsaw for PlayStation 3. This is one of my favorite games, just because it's such a kooky hack and slash game, and rated mature for blood and gore, suggestive themes, so on and so forth. It's actually listed right here. I remember one of my personal experiences with this game is getting into a discussion with a parent when I was working for GameStop about ESRB ratings, and especially with this game, about what it was about, because they wanted to get something for their kid. I forget how old they were, if they were a boy or girl, but they were wondering if this was a good game for it, for that age bracket, and I recommended against it because of that. And I pointed out the ESRB rating and listed it down as blood and gore, drug reference, intense violence, partial nudity, sexual themes, and strong language. It's a fun game, and but again, it's very kooky. It's only one player. There's no multiplayer, and they've essentially taken the zombie slayer kind of game to another level, where it comes to a very obviously attractive main character. They've kind of played on the male and in some cases female fantasy of cheerleaders, but she's a kick-ass heroine, I think, in a really good game. Um, it's one of the it's an older game in the essence of PlayStation, because this was right around the time that most games only supported 480 to 720p. Of course, nowadays it's 1080p on up. That's about standard that you're going to get. Obviously, one of the first games to really start talking about hard drive space when it comes to installing the game. Um, but overall, it was just a really good game. I picked it up at my local Games Plus for about 15. Online, this is about $30, so I got it for about half the price. It is used, but it was put out by WB Games. They're the same publishers that did the Arkham games, um, so on and so forth. Mortal Kombat games nowadays too, and NetherRealm Studios obviously developed that, but Warner Brothers has had their hand in a lot of publishing of games of a similar racket, done by Katakawa Games and Grasshopper Manufacture. So again, I'm really sorry for the setup. I can't really get a good full shot here, but the this was right around the time. Obviously, this PlayStation 3 was a generation of Blu-ray. This is just my receipt. I picked up a couple of things there, including The Lost World, Jurassic Park, which I thought was Fallen Kingdom. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's one of those. One of the items they keep near the register. It's called a impulse item, and my brain didn't click right, and I thought I was buying Fallen Kingdom, but Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but this was the Lost World. I think it came out in 1997. But anyway, I now have it on Blu-ray, so it's a good thing. But anyway, moving on. But yeah, PlayStation 3 was the first generation to really introduce Blu-ray. There was a big, for those that don't know, there was a big war, so forth, so-called, for HD DVD and Blu-ray. Blu-ray won out. That happens. Kind of like Betamax and VHS back in the day. Laserdisc to DVD, so on and so forth. It's kind of instruction booklet. You don't see this a whole lot nowadays. Actually, this is dealing contents. Talks about video output in HD requires cables and an HD compatible display. That's about it. And this is the actual. Oh, there's two of them. I wonder how they got two. I wonder why they had two of these in here. I never noticed that. From time to time at these used game stores, I don't know, maybe the previous owner put them in here. But sometimes these instruction booklets, they'll pull them out and maybe get them mixed up. I know that I used to work for Game Exchange, and they used to do that. They would pull out the instruction booklets because people, collectors especially, would actually steal these from the case. And half the time you wouldn't even notice unless you had a very vigilant staff. But especially during the holidays, you get really busy. And I don't really think stealing a booklet from a game is something to get up in arms about. It's still technically theft. Because when a store buys in that game, they obviously own it. Case, booklet, whatever the contents of the actual case was. But they would obviously pull out the disc as well, but some stores would pull out the disc and the booklet and keep them in sleeves and drawers behind the counter. But some stores stopped doing that because they felt that these instruction booklets were too cumbersome. Obviously, these are kind of dying out along with strategy guides with everything going digital nowadays. Some studios, manufacturers don't even make these booklets anymore. They'll just include a disc, and they'll have a little slip in that says they'll have a website listed with the instruction booklet, so on and so forth. But so that's so that's the Lollipop Chainsaw. I hope to do this on the Silent Fan 85 channel at some point, and it's really fun. It's a really fun kooky game, and if you can get your hands on it, I definitely recommend it. The problem with streaming this right now, even with a PlayStation console, because it's not available digitally, at least not yet. But the problem is that there is an HDCP block when you connect your PlayStation 3, for example, to an Elgato game capture device. There's a block that unless you have a special splitter, you can't pick up the video. So unless you just want to go really ghetto and just record a monitor with a camera, but I try not to do that. I used to do that on the Silent Fan 85 channel back when I first started, but I've since upgraded my game and try to give them more better presentation and stuff. But anyway, zombie slaying game with a cheerleader. She magically saves her boyfriend's head on her waist. He can talk. Multiple endings too, but pretty cool. And again, a mature game. The next game is not really a lesser known game. A lot of people have enjoyed this franchise. A lot of people swear by it, and I became one of them because of my community. Uncharted. This one was the first one I ever played, and then I ended up getting the HD collection of the previous titles. Played Lost Legacy, but Uncharted follows Nathan Drake. I think a good male counterpoint to Lara Croft of the Tomb Raider series. Another big fan of that. And but this is probably one of the best adventure games I've ever played. Done by Naughty Dog. You can see the comparisons here. Obviously, with what we talked about earlier with Lollipop Chainsaw, it gives you a breakdown of ESRB rating, blood language, use of alcohol, use of violence, or use of tobacco, and violence. Um, one player, 2 to 10 network players. I've never done multiplayer on Uncharted. I think I may have at one point, but I didn't really get into it. It takes 50 gigs. You compare that to Lollipop Chainsaw, which was about 435 megabytes. Obviously, a lot more detail between the generations on that, and uses DualShock 4. Where Lollipop Chainsaw used DualShock 3, but again, that's for PlayStation. And again, another Blu-ray disc. Obviously, Blu-ray won out in the end between that and HD DVD. The global indicator here is the codec of the game. Can be played in all regions. Obviously, not exactly region locked. Some games are. Some games are going to use, I believe, PAL. That may be video encoding, but and others are going to use other ones. I did pick this one up. It came with the system that I bought because I have this special Uncharted 4 system. And with games that are included with the system, they usually tend to say not for resale. Now, with that said, to my knowledge, there's no specific law in place that's to stop you from reselling this to a store. Really the big difference here is that on a copy that would be sold individually from the system, there would be a barcode here where the not for resale is. And again, I know that's awkward. I'm sorry, but but that doesn't stop game shops from taking games like this in. So, but it's a great game, and again, a great series. I look forward to playing more, hopefully in the future. As of this video, there is talk of PlayStation 5 already being worked on. A lot of lead developers are concentrating their efforts towards PlayStation 5. They're kind of turning away from PlayStation 4, which they obviously did at one point for PlayStation 3. So, but yeah, great series. Has multiple titles in the series. Lollipop Chainsaw is the total opposite. There was only one ever made. Obviously, these guys have made more than just Lollipop Chainsaw, but definitely a good game if you can get your hands on it, along with Uncharted 4. So that's just two of my favorite games. One I hope to play one day. One I have played with my community. And great experiences all around. And I definitely recommend them. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. See you later.